Good morning, family. Can you believe that we are already in the month of September? So, welcome to September. We are going to be focusing for this month, myself and a few others. We're going to be focusing on the character of God, the character of God. So, I just want you in your own mind to start to think about when you hear about the character of God, what comes to your mind? What attributes, what characters, what qualities, what values and virtues. What do you think about when you think about the character of God? And so today I'm going to be focused on the character of God as it is found in the person of Jesus. The person of Jesus, nobody better, of course. And we'll be looking at maybe several different Bible characters. Maybe we'll look at Jesus and how he just constantly expressed and manifested the character of God wherever he went, whatever he did. Didn't matter what age he was, when he was either young or even as he grew up into his teens and into his young 20s. Think about that, Jesus in his young 20s, and of course making it to his young 30s. But I want you to think about that, and typically when you think about the character of God, sometimes, when you think about the character of God, you might think God is loving, and God is kind, or God is strong and powerful. God is, part of who he is all-knowing, right? He's all good. I don't know, different things that you and I can think of, but the one thing that I just want to bring to your attention for today, and I want to make this, I feel like I can make this short. I just want you to think about, as you go about your day, the character trait of God that I want for us just to meditate on and think about, as is found in the person of Jesus, is thoughtfulness. I just want you to think about, was Jesus a thoughtful person? And of course, you already know the answer. Absolutely he was. But think about being a thoughtful person. What does it mean to be a thoughtful person? To be a thoughtful person means I'm not self-absorbed. Right? I'm not just so focused on myself. I'm so selfish that I have no time to think about others. So being a thoughtful person means that I'm not self-absorbed, that I'm not so focused on myself, that, in other words, if I'm not selfish and if I'm not self-absorbed, then I make time for other people. And other people aren't I think about Jesus when he was going, let's say, to heal the centurion's son. He said, hey, my servant, he's home, he's sick. Can you come heal him? And Jesus is on his way to heal perform this miracle and heal this man. And all of a sudden, an interruption occurs. And there's a woman who says, if I can just touch the hem of this garment, I know that I'll be made whole. I know that I'll be, that I'll be healed. And of course it happens. Now think about this. As Jesus is going to do one thing, he's interrupted in another way. But he's so thoughtful, right? And part of this second part is thoughtful people are kind people, right? You ever met an unkind, thoughtful person? No, like thoughtful people, you go, wow, that was really kind of them, or that was nice of them, or wow, they went out of their way. It's when all of a sudden you put somebody else's needs kind of before your own needs. It was thoughtful. It was a kind gesture. And so Jesus is on his way to perform one miracle, and he stopped in his tracks because something miraculous just happened. And Jesus is so thoughtful and so kind to this woman. He calls her daughter, who had been suffering for 12 years. And so I just wanted you to think about couple of things. When you think about Jesus, when you think about God as one of the first characteristic traits of God, do you think that God is thoughtful, right? That God is thoughtful, that God is intentional, that God is present, that it is not a disruption for Jesus. At least what he's showing us about the character of God is that sometimes you and I can get so focused on our projects. We can get so focused on what we have to do, on our agenda, what's on our calendar, what we have planned for our day, that when anything else kind of disrupts those things, our plans, what happens to us? We get annoyed, we get frustrated, we lose our patience, we kind of roll our eyes inside. We're like, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I guess I'll do it anyways. But no, Jesus shows us that he's a thoughtful thoughtful person. And of course, Jesus says, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So Jesus revealing to us that God, the Father, is thoughtful, that Jesus is thoughtful for. So here's the question that I have for you. Where in your life right now, or rather, who do you need to be more thoughtful with? I want you to think about that. Where in your life right now do you need to be more thoughtful? And, is it with your spouse? Is it with your kids, family, friends, coworkers? Who in your life right now have you not been so thoughtful? Maybe you're not present, or maybe you get easily annoyed. Maybe you're, I don't know. We all have these areas in our life, I know I do, where we're not always so thoughtful. And being thoughtful means it takes energy. Being thoughtful means I'm going to listen. I'm looking, I'm observing, I'm listening, I'm trying to figure things out. Why? Because a thoughtful person is collecting all of this data, right? Is collecting all of these, picking up on thoughts and emotions, and picking up on body language, and picking up on when someone's tired, or picking up on all these little things where it's like, man, when you and I just put some effort, when you and I get intentional to listen to one another and to be present, all of a sudden we begin to express what Jesus shows us who God is. God is thoughtful. And so I want to encourage you this week, or this weekend, as you go into the weekend, I want to encourage you two things. Number one, go through the Gospels, read a Gospel, pick a Gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Just start reading it. And as you're reading the Gospels, I want you just to go in there, and I want you to, as you're reading in the story, just say, where is Jesus being thoughtful in this? And just pause and meditate on thoughtfulness, and ask yourself, where can I be more thoughtful in my life, with my family, with my friends? Where can I be more thoughtful? Where can I be more intentional? Where do I need to listen more? And I know how easy it is, like I said, just to be about our business. And even when we're doing God's work, right? Like I'm studying, I'm reading the Bible, I'm praying, I got to do my thing. And maybe you get interrupted by somebody, and it feels like an interruption, but really for God, it's like, hey, this is a moment to be present, to show up, to be thoughtful, to be kind. So pray on it this week. Think about it as you're reading the Bible, and just ask yourself, where do I need to show up? Where do I need to be more thoughtful? And because thoughtfulness leads to kindness. Thoughtfulness leads to, a beautiful word in due season. Thoughtfulness lends itself to an ear that's, willing to listen. Thoughtfulness, right? Being thoughtful. It's picking up on things when nobody asked you to do it. It's when you take out the trash and nobody told you to take out the trash. It's when you clean the dishes. It's when you go the extra mile. It's when you show up. It's when you do these little things day in, day out, even when it's not asked of you, because you're choosing to be thoughtful. All right, fam, that's it. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and we'll be back on Monday to continue the character of God.